Welcome back, guys. I guess you deserve a little update. Well, the last video I posted, I believe, was just a little 2-minute video of me riding around and trying to get this thing kind of dialed in with the new fuel injectors and the new Holley intake and all that jazz. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there just to, well, to put something out there, guys. But as you guys could see, we were getting no traction. Like, we were doing 90-mile-an-hour burnouts and stuff. Of course, we were on the street tires. Once we put our other wheels on with our radials here, we won't have as big a problem even on the street at the track. I'm sure they'll hook fine, but I intend to find out soon. Anywho, there were a lot of questions, comments on that little 2-minute video. I think we actually had some new people watching that video that really didn't know about this project. So I'm just going to say right up front, guys, if you don't know what's going on with this car, this is the Chaos Theory Camaro. This is one of our project vehicles here on the channel, and there is an entire playlist entitled Chaos Theory Camaro. So if you go check out the playlists on the channel, click on the playlist tab, and you can look down through all the project vehicles. Again, this one is Chaos Theory Camaro, and what we've got here is a high mileage, and by high I mean extremely high. It's a 349,000 mile 5.3 that pretty much all I did to it was throw some new $20 rod bearings in it because the rod bearings look a little worn out. We reused the head gaskets, reused the head bolts, ran it for a year on nitrous, and now we're twin turbos. And we took it to the track with the twin turbos on regular pump gas with the truck intake and a set of decapped injectors. Ran like a I think, what was it, guys, a 684 at 103 miles an hour or 102 miles an hour on low boost, low timing, and a really slow boost ramp because I was having trouble bringing the boost in too soon. So anywho, that brings us to where we're currently at. We have installed a Holley high ram. We have also installed Snake Eater 1500cc injectors. Gonna get to that in just a minute, guys. They're not 1500cc. And then we started having just some little issues here and there. So the first issue, and the one that makes absolutely no sense that's still plaguing us, is our fuel pressure sending unit here. So originally we were having trouble. Like, I would turn the key forward and the Holley dash was reading like 0 fuel pressure or 1 psi or something like that. And I actually thought that my low dollar motorsport sending unit had went bad. So Brandon Dollar didn't just send me a replacement for this. He sent me a replacement for the nitrous pressure transducer and everything. I mean, like, real good guy. He didn't even ask questions. He saw I was having problems and he just shipped them to me without me even knowing until like 2 days later. But after swapping them out, we still had the same problem. So I started tracing grounds and all that jazz, and it looked like we had good ground. So I could not figure it out. To this day, I have not figured it out. So what we ended up doing was we took my cousin's snap-on fuel pressure gauge, and we used that to set our base fuel pressure at 43, 44 psi, somewhere right in there, and screwed the sensor back in. Same thing. It wasn't showing any fuel pressure. Well, the whole time I was doing this, guys, I wasn't starting the car. I was just keying it forward and going by what the dash read. So a funny thing makes this even weirder. Apparently, when the car is running, our fuel pressure transducer here and our Holley dash shows the correct fuel pressure. It shows exactly what we set it at with a mechanical gauge. If I just leave the pump running with the key forward, it won't show anything. It'll show like 1-2 psi. But if I check it with a mechanical gauge, it's 43 or 44 psi. So I still don't know what's going on with that, guys. But until I figure out that glitch, I'm happy just knowing that at least when the car is running, you know, the Holley is reporting the correct fuel pressure. So we're going to leave it at that for now. I might talk to, I might call Holley, talk to them. Hell, I might call Matt Happel, see if he's got any ideas, or message Matt Happel. I don't have his phone number. But I don't know, guys. If you've got an idea what could cause that, it reads when the car is running, but not, you know, with the key forward, it shows like 1 or 2 psi. Weird stuff. But anyway, that's taken care of. Now, one of the questions I got asked about was the Snake Eater 1500s. Somebody was asking me how I liked them. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, I freaking love them. I put them in. I had to pull a little bit of fuel out, like 10%. I'm going to get back to that in just a second. I had to pull like 10% of fuel out, and then my AFRs were pretty close at idle. You know, with the Holley HP that I've got in the car, I drove the car in that video that you guys saw. I drove the car for about an hour on and off, and everything was dialed after that. I mean, the AFRs were spot on, you know, copy learn table over, and everything was good. Now, the issue is, why did I have to take that 10% out? Because I used all the parameters that Holley had preset for Snake Eater 1500s. And I'm about to go over that right now. So if you guys remember, Mr. Adam Geske actually sent us these Snake Eaters, I mean, for dirt cheap. He had switched to, I think, Bosch 210s. And so he sent me the flow sheet that Snake Eater Performance had sent with these injectors. And I'm going to show you something, guys. So Snake Eater calls these 1500cc injectors at 43 psi, and that's the data that Holley has. Like, you can select the Snake Eater or the SEP 1500s from Holley's drop down menu, you know, when you're tuning your vehicle, and it inputs them as 1500cc, like 142 pound per hour injectors. Okay, well, the problem here is, here's our flow sheet, and if you look at this, it says they were tested at 43 psi. Well, look here. They're not flowing 1500cc. They're flowing 1640. Let's see, they range between, this set between 1640 or 1632 all the way up to the highest one flows 1651. Okay, so that is about a 10% difference between 1500cc and 1640cc. So that's why I had to pull fuel, guys. And I didn't think about it. I didn't even pull this chart out when I first started tuning. So what I actually should do, I think 1640 cc would be equivalent to about 154 pound per hour, something like that. So the right thing for me to do would be to go back in my tune, put 10% fuel back in everywhere, and then in the flow, you know, where you put your fuel injectors in, where it asks for the flow rate, I should put like 154 pound per hour injectors, and it should be straightened out. But for the time being, I've already got it tuned in with it set low like that. I don't know. I think that might mess with the VE, you know, the volumetric efficiency readings. It might have skew that a little bit, but I'm just going to roll with it for now, guys. That's the deal with them. So they're supposed to be 1500cc at 43 psi, and the set I got is actually over 1600cc. So that's actually pretty awesome, because that means I could probably push these things a lot further than I'll ever need to push them without having to upgrade injectors. But other than that little issue with the flow being off, they've been great, guys. Like I said, I took it out, test drove it. It ran great the whole time. Didn't have any issues at all as far as the fuel injectors go. Didn't really have any issues with anything. So moving right along, you guys know we did our surge tank video a while back, where we've got the triple Walbro 450 surge tank in the back of the car. We're actually only running 2 Walbro 450s in it at the moment, but I had yet to wire that second pump. So I went ahead and wired it into an output on my Holley here, got that hooked up, and the second pump should kick on at 5 psi. Now, I set it at 5 psi because my gate pressure is 3 psi on here. The most boost we've made on this thing so far is like, I think 12 or 13. That's going to change real soon. But anyway, I did not want, like, if I'm just cruising the car around or just running on gate, I didn't want that second pump to ever kick in. So I set it to kick on at like 2 psi above my gate pressure. So the only time that pump's going to ever kick on is if I turn the boost control on. All right, so That way that pump's not running all the time. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I've got some other stuff I'm wanting to do, guys, with inputs and outputs, but I am, at this point, once I set aside my output for the trans brake, I'm totally out of outputs on my Holley HP. You know, you only get 4 inputs, 4 outputs on this thing, so I'm pretty much out of outputs, and I'm totally out of inputs. Now, I know somebody, actually, I think a couple people made the comment I should buy that new module from Holley. You know, the one that gives you like 8 more inputs and outputs through CAN bus. Guys, that's kind of why we bought the Holley Pro Dash in the first place. The Holley Pro Dash has 4 outputs, and it has a total of 13, I think, extra inputs. And I was under the misconception when I bought that Holley Pro Dash that I would be able to use the inputs and outputs directly. And, you know, up until the last version of V5 software, and of course V6, you weren't able to do any of that. With the newest version of V5, I can't remember the build number, they implemented it where you could start actually using the additional inputs in the Holley Dash to directly affect parameters in the Holley ECU. I'm not sure if that works with Terminator, but I know it works with HP and with Dominator, and we are running an HP. So we're halfway there, guys. They still have not implemented. I'm still waiting for Holley to implement it to where you can use, you know, you can trigger the outputs on the dash with the HP through CAN bus. I'm really hoping that's coming, because if it does, that's going to give us 4 more outputs without having to buy a module or without having to upgrade to a Holley Dominator. As it comes, in case you guys don't know, the Holley Dash, the 4 outputs, all they're good for currently is for switched outputs. Like, you can make virtual switches on the dash to arm or disarm things. And beyond that, the outputs on the Holley Dash are pretty much useless. You cannot trigger them from the ECU. You cannot trigger them at a specific RPM or boost range or whatever. They're pretty much switched outputs only. And again, I'm really hoping that Holley will change that in the future. I mean, I don't know if the dash is set up internally to be able to do that, but you know what? When they first came out with it, the Holley ECUs couldn't even read the inputs from the dash and use those to influence things. And they just changed something in the software and allowed that to happen. So I'm pretty sure they could do something with the software side and, you know, give us those 4 outputs to use as triggers and not just switched outputs. So that's what I'm waiting on, guys. Like, I don't want to buy that module and then Holley comes out with, you know, V6 build whatever, and they're like, oh, you can use the outputs now. And I'm like, yeah, I just wasted $400 freaking dollars, right? So I'm waiting on that. And the fact of the matter is, guys, we don't own this ECU. If you go back and watch the videos, pretty much this whole Holley HP system, I'm looking at it like it's on loan to me. It's been on loan to me for almost 2 years, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it, because I made a promise to the guy that sent it to me that, you know, if I ever took it off this car or if I ever sold this car or whatever, I would give him that stuff back. And there is a reason for that I'm not going to discuss, but that's the deal I made with him. And that's why I said, you know, if I'm gonna upgrade something, you know, if I'm gonna upgrade to a different ECU or something, I'm just gonna go big. I'm gonna get the Dominator, and I'll pretty much have more inputs and outputs than I'll ever need. I hope that makes sense, guys. I know I'm rambling, but that's kind of the whole point of this video. So something else I did, I went in a tune. I got everything set up for E85. So currently we're dialed in on 93 octane, and we do have our flex fuel sensor here. And I have actually went to the store and I got us 10 gallons of the finest pump E85. I have not checked the content, but I saw on a local car group, somebody was saying that they checked the content at the particular store that I was at the other day when I bought that, and that it was supposed to be supposedly around 79% ethanol, which is damn good for pump gas. the plan is we are going to take this thing to the track, most likely English Mountain, most likely on Sunday if they're open. We're going to make some passes with what's left of the 93 in here and just kind of play around a little bit, try to run some of that 93 out. And then once I get it down to at least a quarter tank, we're going to dump in 5 gallons of E85 and start turning the boost up. So that's it, guys. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. There's not been a lot changed recently with the car other than what I've already discussed. Oh, I did finally order some seatbelt brackets here because I was getting tired of my seatbelt like riding over the top and digging into my face when we were racing. Oh yeah, I got something else to tell you guys. So something that might be coming. Since I've had this car, I've had the idea twice now that I wanted to put a switch panel in it. And the idea was, since we've got the Holly Dash, we no longer need this big monster tack. It's just kind of redundant. Just something for you guys to watch in the videos when I'm racing. But I was going to get rid of this tack, which regardless, that's going to happen. And I wanted to mount a switch panel right here underneath our vents right here. So my initial idea, just a lighted toggle switch panel with a different color switch for everything. And you know, you got your safeties and you flip this up and the switch itself lights up, and they're all color coded to the covers I bought here. So we got orange, white, you know, green, whatever. Well, I bought this guy right here like, I don't know, probably a year ago. And then when I saw it, I was like, you know what, that's cheesy as fuck. I don't want to use that. So here recently, I was like, you know what, let's get some of these big boy switches here. And I actually found this switch panel on eBay for $15. It comes pre-wired, like you see here. And it comes with little decals for different insignias here. And I went through all the trouble of actually making labels with my label maker for all these switches here, and I was ready to put it in, and I held it up there and I was like, no, don't want to do it, don't want to put that in there. I don't know, guys, there's just something about it. I like how the interior on this car is so clean. You know, I like my buttons and my switches, and it'd be nice because currently, like my boost control, I'm currently using, you know, the touch screen on my Holly Dash. I have to reach through the steering wheel and I hit the little virtual switch and it activates the boost control. So it'd be nice to, you know, move that over to a switch here, a physical switch, but I can't bring myself to do it, guys. It's, the inside of the car is just too clean right now. I mean, I don't want to start putting a bunch of stuff that doesn't look like it belongs. So I got another option, you know, right after I decided I didn't want to put that in, which was literally a week ago. Oxbeam reached out to me, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I've done some videos in the past, review videos on some of their products, LED headlights and stuff like that. But they reached out to me and they have got a really cool switch panel. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I think they're sending me one. But they wanted me to do a review on it, and when I saw it I was like, you know what, that looks really damn nice and it wouldn't look all gaudy in the car. So you know, be looking for that video, guys, because I'm pretty sure they're sending me one, and if they do, when I get it, we'll do a nice little review on it. I'll show you guys how it works. It's a really neat panel, and it's about half the price of the competition out there. If you guys watch Cletus McFarlane and you've seen the little, you know, the little touch panel that they have in Ruby, it's kind of similar to that. It doesn't really look like that because it's square buttons instead of round buttons, but it's the same concept, guys. You know, you can light them up, you can make the different buttons do different things. I don't know, like I said, I'll go over it in the video, but I just want to kind of show you guys that because I went through a lot of trouble. Like I made all the labels and stuff for this, and then I was like, I don't want that. But if this is something that you guys might be interested in, you know, one of these panels, let me know. All it takes is one comment in the bottom there, and I'll post an eBay link in the video description for you guys that want to get it, because for $14.99, I mean, that is a heck of a deal. I mean, I know some people pay like, you know, $7-8 just for one of these switches, and this comes with the metal bracket and, you know, 6 switches. They have 8 switch versions too. So let me know, guys, if you want that. I'll put the link in the video description. Beyond that, like I said, there's really been nothing going on, guys. We are going to do some little cosmetic upgrades to the China Vet. I actually ordered a full blackout kit for the China Vet, and I know you guys don't usually see me do that type of thing, but Tracy's the primary driver on the car now, so I thought maybe I'd make it look a little more badass for her while she's cruising around. So we do have that blackout kit in, and I will be installing that most likely in a video. I haven't decided, guys, if I want to install it in a video or if I just want to put it all on and then show you guys in a video. I don't know. I don't know if I want to dedicate a whole video to just putting a blackout kit on a car, but the honest to God truth is, that's the C5 Corvette segment on this channel. Not all of you guys, but a lot of the C5 guys, or just Corvette guys in general, they're more about the cosmetic stuff than the performance. So that's a video they might actually enjoy. I know most of the videos where I'm doing actual work on the China Vet and you know, souping it up, like, you know, when I showed how to install the nitrous and the headers and the exhaust and hell, even the transmission swap, those videos didn't get many views. But when I put a cheesy ass eBay intake on that car that only took 15 minutes to do, they were all over that one, wasn't they? I think that sucker got like 30,000 views. That kind of tells you right there why I lost interest in the China Vet and why the wife's driving it now instead of me hot rodding it still. Because worrying about wax and cosmetic upgrades and cheesy spoilers and polished wheels is just not really my thing, guys. That's pretty much it as far as updates. That's all we've done. I apologize that we haven't gotten this car to the track. Here comes the part of the video where I make excuses, and that's what they are, guys. They're just excuses. I mean, I'm sure I could have found a way at some point, but I planned on taking it to the track last weekend, and last weekend I was on duty. I worked my ass off, but the weekend before I had planned to take it to the track. Well, I got food poisoning Friday night and was laid up in bed with like kidneys hurting so bad I thought it was my lower back for the rest of the weekend, so we didn't get to go. This week, unfortunately, I have a funeral to attend, and this weekend, Saturday, my youngest daughter, we have her final competition that we have to go to for Winter Guard, so that's an all-day and most of the night event. But I'm really hoping Sunday I can get something worked out and take it to the track. Hopefully the weather's good. Hopefully one of the tracks in the area is open. If not, guys, after this weekend, I've got like 3 weekends that I don't have to work in a row. So we are going to get this thing to the track one way or another. If I have to, by God, take a day off work to get this thing to the track within the next week or two, we're going to do it, because we have not been to the track in this car since we did any of these upgrades, and we've not been to the track. The last time this car was at the track, guys, was 2 weeks before I got COVID, and that was over 6 months ago. So I'm jonesing for a track day just as bad as you guys are jonesing to see one. So hopefully we'll get that worked out soon. There's your little update on the car. If you've got any suggestions about what could be going on with why the Holley Dash and the Holley ECU itself, neither one of them seem to be reading this guy unless the car is actually running. So if you've got any suggestions for that, let me know in the comments below, and that's all I got for the update. So get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.